Kempire is brought to you by. Do you know how important it is to rate and review a podcast? Rate and review the Kempire podcast today. 5 stars. Let us know what you love about the podcast. Rate and review the Kempire podcast on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. Did you know that you can watch the Kempire channel on YouTube, Facebook, and on Twitter? Follow us on all of our platforms. More information on our YouTube, our Blue Sky, our Twitter, aka X, and more socials, and every way that you can support us will be available in the episode notes. You're listening to Kempire here on the Kempire Radio Network. Hey everyone, let me know if you can hear me loud and clear and see me loud and clear. Happy Tuesday. Yes, normally we do not go live and talk about the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills on a Tuesday, but here we are. We are doing it tonight just because I have a busy day tomorrow. I have a lot of appointments, things to do, very important things to do. So I know I didn't want to come in and rush. Luckily, this episode, Garcelle, you don't need to get behind us, right? Not this time. Andy tried to pull Garcelle in a couple of moments. Garcelle, what did you think about this? Garcelle is annoyed. She comes into the reunion annoyed, and I cannot blame her. You saw the preview for next week, the final part of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion, and they're making a toast, and Garcelle is like, "I'm done. I'm out." What happened? Well, we shall see. If you saw the videos that I've said, this is what the word on the street was in regards to Garcelle feeling attacked. And I told you, Garcelle, according to sources, came into this reunion all about coming back next season. I think she was blindsided. She thought this was going to be all about Sutton. Sutton, don't get behind us. Look, don't get behind us, Sutton. You in front of us. Stay right in front of us with those folks. I'm not going to help Sutton. I'm not going to help her in this recap. We're going to talk about all the blows that she took in this reunion, rightfully so, because I heard some more stuff about Sutton this past week, and I'm just like, And look, Sutton, girl, I don't think you should come back next season, right? I don't think Sutton should come back next season. Let me fix this on TikTok. Shout out to everyone watching on TikTok where I can see your comments. Thank you, Judy, for the gifts. Thank you, Judy, for saying the sound is sounding. Fantastic. So I have to say, in part 2, Garcelle didn't have a lot to address. There wasn't a lot of focus on Garcelle. The focus really was on Kyle and Dorit's friendship. The focus was also on Dorit and Sutton towards the end of the reunion. Okay? CM said, "What you hear? What did you like to know?" I'm going to sit on that. But it's nothing that would surprise anyone. I'll be honest about that. Look. Son, I'm going to let you live for now. Because you're already taking your licks during this reunion. And this is your karma. This is truly your karma. Okay? But okay. Yeah, Edward said, Kempire, that was exactly my question. I was like, what's going to happen in part 3? Well, look, there is a rumor, a blind item that's going around this week that this was an orchestrated attack. That, including Lisa Rinna, they all came together before this reunion saying that they were going to come for Garcelle. They're even saying, allegedly, it's a blind item. I haven't heard this personally. I'm just telling you what the blind item said this week. They're even alleging that Bose was a part of that meeting. I don't know about that. I haven't heard anything. If I hear more, I will let y'all know. But that's the blind item that came out this week. But again, I feel like sometimes fans start creating blind items and just putting information out there because of what you saw last week. If this blind item came out weeks ago before the reunion started airing, then I probably would have taken it a little bit more seriously. You know what I mean? But I don't know if it was an orchestrated attack, but I wouldn't put it past these women. They've done it before. They've been accused of this before. That's probably part of the reason why Erika Jayne got so heated when during the finale, they said, "Oh, did you and Dorit come up with this plan to come for Sutton?" Because she's like, "No, don't do that. Don't do that." Because they allegedly have a history of doing that. Okay. But Garcelle, you don't need to get behind. Well, no, stay behind us, Garcelle. Look, just stay behind us because this part 2 isn't about you at all. So Well, the first part is about her. So apparently, I don't know because they don't show this, but I'm assuming Garcelle must have spoke to production, and Andy brings up, Garcelle, there was something that you wanted to address in regards to something with Kyle. And Garcelle accuses Kyle of sharing this personal information, and she feels like she shared this off camera in order to shut her up. Remember, that was the accusation that Dorit had against Kyle. So everyone is looking at Kyle like, this is something that you do. And I agree, Kyle, you are not innocent. I think Kyle has been on this show for so long. Again, I'm never going to take away early years of Kyle being on the show. I liked her, but that was before she was the queen, self-proclaimed queen. Look, like I got crystal in my hand. I got a crystal in my hand. I got my own crystal. I got some tourmaline. I got my crystal. Look, got some citrine. Yes. What you know about that, Kyle? You don't know nothing about it. Look, some more crystals. Look. Can you focus? There we go. Some crystals. I got my own crystals. I always got crystals in here. Okay. I already got crystals in here. All right. I'll play. Look, I always got my little crystals. Okay. That's some opal. Some green opal. You know, people send bad juju your way when you're doing stuff like this. Shout out to the person, Nicole, who just sent me a super thanks on one of my other videos. Thank you, Nicole. Shout out to the people that send super thanks on videos. Sometimes I see them, sometimes I don't. So I just want a blanket statement. Thank you so much for the support. I appreciate that, guys. All right, let me turn my notifications off because, I'm normally not live at this time of night, but here we are. If you're watching the replay of this and you didn't know that we were going live tonight, I apologize. But look, a brother has things to do. When you work for yourself, you can do what you want. You can do what you want, but you end up working a full day because I was live earlier today. And now, look, I'm live almost 10 o'clock at night here in New York City. Okay. Hey, Joker. See, Joker says, no, Kempire be working. I was at work earlier. I finally caught alive. See, every once in a while we get to the replay crew. The replay crew is no longer part of the replay crew. They're part of the live show. Hey, y'all. I almost pre-recorded this, but it's not as fun. I'm pre-recording this. I haven't pre-recorded it in a hot second. It's all right. Yes, Kiani says, thank you, Kiani, for being a member. Kiani says, that amethyst crystal thought tonight said, get me out of here tonight on the reunion. Yeah, it kept on dropping. Andy said, that's bad juju. No, it's not bad juju. So you can tell when people are not crystallistas. A crystal dropping isn't bad juju. Okay? Yeah, that was Kyle's lying self shaking. She couldn't hold the crystal. The crystal was like, we are of good energy. We can't be around her bad energy. Just saying. ain't bad. The bad juju is Kyle, but okay. Anyway. So Garcelle believes that Kyle only opened up to her off camera in order to silence her. Because remember, one of the things that Kyle was saying is that, I don't want to talk about Morgan. She's uncomfortable. So Garcelle feels as if Kyle was being manipulative. And remember, that's the same thing that Dorit said last season during the reunion, reading the text message to Erica. So Kyle feels as if, Garcelle feels as if that was what Kyle was doing. Kyle says that she only did those things off camera because she couldn't share it on camera. She said, I felt like it was a way for me to get, have a deeper level with you. Garcelle's like, oh, okay. Please understand, when Garcelle says, okay, it's not just Garcelle letting it go. It's Garcelle's like, all right, girl. I'm not going to argue with you. Okay. If that's what you say, I'm going to put it out there so I see you. Right, Garcelle? Get behind me, Garcelle. Stay behind me. Look, stay behind me. Garcelle, this is Garcelle, though. Garcelle is tired at this reunion, and it's only part one. And I'm sure she came into the reunion sort of like, oh, gosh. I mean, the part two of the reunion is just like, all right, where are we going with this? And you saw where Sutton ran to right after they got off of part one of the reunion. She ran to Garcelle because Garcelle's her only friend there. She doesn't have any other friends there. Yeah, she's friends with Jennifer Tilly. Jennifer Tilly wasn't there yet. Kathy Hilton, she's friends with. But I think that's a social friend. That's not a deep friendship. She run into Garcelle. And Garcelle, I wish you would have given her more fun. Like, you know what, Sutton? I need a moment. I can't be around you right now. Okay? I can't be around you. Well, Garcelle's a lot lovelier than us, right? That must be the Sagittarius in y'all. The Sagittarius, I tell you, Sagittarius are really sweet. Like they're fiery and all over the place, but they're very sweet. Okay. All right. Moving on from, well, not really moving on from there. Another thing that annoys me, and I wish Garcelle would have called out in part 1, but in this part, Kyle says that because Andy, one thing I will give Andy, especially when it comes to Kyle, and I guess I think it's more performative, y'all. Because I know everyone's going to give Andy his props. Yeah, Andy, keep your foot on Kyle's neck. He's heard what you guys have said, that he never holds her accountable. So finally in season 14, he's going to hold her accountable? Really? Season 14? So he says to her, you know, a lot of people are wondering, like, you're on a reality show, sharing your life. Why can't you share this? You have a whole, you shared Morgan on the show last season. Now people can't talk about her. He doesn't even want to say her name. He's better than me, because I would be like, Morgan. Okay. All right. Y'all thought because it was late that my villain era was on hiatus. Poot. How about you poot away? You riding way too hard for Garcelle. Get your extra large cape on. How about you get your extra block on? No, matter of fact, I'm going to keep you here. I'm going to keep you watching, because the more you watch, the better my check will be this month. Thank you. Keep watching. It's a review, y'all. Y'all take this stuff too seriously. That is the problem. If you don't like what you're watching, or if you feel I'm going too hard, I feel I'm going too hard on someone, or I am supporting someone too much on a review, you don't have to watch. But keep watching. Keep watching. Watch. You still here, Poot? You still here? Keep watching, Poot. Angelique says, when is the villain era over? Let me ask Femtara. I'll tell you. I think it's the rest of 2025. I think it's the rest of 2025, so buckle up. Because it's only going to get worse for you, Poot. Your name is Poot. That's sad enough. Garcelle! Right, Ms. Martin? They don't know. Look, you're lucky that I even see the comment. Shout out to the almost 1,000 of you that are watching on multiple platforms. You're lucky I even see your comment. You're lucky you got a little attention today. Okay? Good luck. Thanks, Pooh. Thanks for the dislike. It's still engagement, loser. Oh my God. Wait. Wait.
Keep watching, Pooh. It's funny because it's true.
Anyway, back to this. All right. Anyone else? Anyone else? Come for it. I'm ready for you. Replay crew, you won't be able to get it because I'm not coming back to check the comments because I'm booked and busy. Unlike Poot. Poot's here. Okay. All right. Let me say thank you because we had a few super chats as well. We appreciate the support, guys. You can also support just by liking the video or disliking, like Poot. Anyway, V says, I haven't even watched it, but thank you, V. Thank you, V, for always being here and supporting. We appreciate you. Edwards, thank you. Edward, thank you so much for the super chat and for being a member. Edward says, I'm so glad you did this tonight because I had trouble watching you last Wednesday. This part was kind of cringy and a little dull. Right? I have to say, part 2 was not that interesting. And I think they're intentionally, holding off on all the drama stuff until part 3. But yeah, part 2 was for me. Thank you so much, Kimmy, for the gift. I appreciate the support. If you guys had to rate part 2 of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion, how would you rate it? It wasn't that great, if I'm being honest. And I think it's partly, again, because no one cares about any beef between Kyle and Dorit. No one cares about Textgate. No one. They saved the really juicy stuff between Sutton and Dorit to the end. Christina, thank you so much for the super chat. Christina says, Kempire, thank you for what you do. Just finished your Married to Medicine review and you look like you need a hug and a nap. Christine, I did. I was so over it. I was by the time we got to part 3 of the Married to Medicine review, I was just like, I'm done. I'm done with this season because it's just repeating what we've already said. After episode of Married to Medicine, I was done. I didn't even go back. Shout out to those of you that watched the replay. I appreciate it. Tyrese, thank you so much for the super chat. Tyrese says, can Jennifer Tilly come back without Sutton? That's the thing with the Bravo universe. They build you up in order to take you down. I really want Jennifer Tilly to be a one and a done in a good way. I think she's too sweet for the show. Sutton will need her next season, but I don't even want her to be there for Sutton in that way. Sutton, you're on your own. Okay. Thank you, Tyrese, for the super chat. Christina, thank you so much for another super chat. Tyrese says, totally missed my early chat. Wait, super chat? Wait, I don't know what you mean. Christina, you sent another one. Hold on. Christina says, I think if 2025 didn't already put us in our villain era, Bravo will get you there. You're right. You're right. Maybe I need a break from Bravo. AY, thank you so much for the super chat. AY says, Dorit and her ability to jab and play victim seriously irritates me. Who caught her Witches of Eastwick comment? Garcelle caught it too. We all caught it. We know what she meant. And then her, there she is to Sutton. Well, the fact that you kept on asking for Sutton to have that energy, and Sutton finally gave you that energy, but we're not defending Sutton. Sutton, you're on your own. You're on your own, Sutton. But I didn't see anything wrong with Sutton finally responding. Did you guys notice when Tilly was like, did Sutton take an anxiety meds? Garcelle had to say, we're mic'd. Jennifer Tilly did. She, again, too innocent for the show, but we'll get to Jennifer Tilly in a second. Okay. Then here's my gripe with this conversation with Garcelle and Kyle at the top of this Beverly Hills reunion. Kyle says she isn't going to hurt someone she loves, and then references her daughters. So stop trying to make it about your children now. All of a sudden, Kyle, if you really were concerned about your children, you wouldn't have been parading Morgan on this show last season, tattooing your initial on her, having her perform at your charity event, being pictured with her countless times everywhere. Like, come on. Not only that, you did a whole music video with the lesbianic behavior. You don't think that hurt your daughters when you're still married to their father? Like, this whole victimhood, no wonder you and Dorit are friends. You have that in common. All of a sudden, oh, I don't want to hurt. I'm not going to show anything or do anything that's going to hurt someone I love. And if this will affect my daughters, I'm not doing it. You didn't think about your daughters last season, but all right. Before we get to what Andy had to say, because I have to say Andy did give it to her in regards to, like, Morgan is a singer. Like, I'm trying to understand why she is already in the public eye, but Kyle's like, Bravo universe is a little different. Yeah. You knew that already. You've been on the show for how many years? You already knew how the Bravo universe was. So why would you bring her on the show? It's not like you were a newbie when Morgan came on. It was just last season. You were on the show for 13 years. So then Bo says she doesn't understand why Kyle doesn't just stand on it. Just say, I don't want to talk about Morgan, period. Why she doesn't do that? Instead of this, I've shared a lot, I've done a lot, blah, 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 blah. So Dorit believes that Kyle has been different, has set different rules with her. And then Kyle redirects and projects that, I feel like you do that with me. Do you guys notice Kyle does that a lot? When someone calls her out on something, she will say, well, I think you do that to me. All right, Kyle. Erica said that she had PTSD because she felt like somebody was going to come to her room with another text message. Okay. Kyle, oh my gosh, she brings up what Dorit said on Watch What Happens Live, saying that the more Kyle got closer to Morgan, the more she pulled away from Dorit. Anyone notice how now all of a sudden Kyle is making it seem like she is close friends with Dorit? Did we forget that she made it seem as if she was never close with Dorit? Have we completely forgotten about that? She tried to make it seem and downplay her friendship to Dorit. Now all of a sudden, I thought we were closer than that. I thought we were closer than what? I thought y'all weren't friends. Chris on TikTok says, I didn't forget. Chat K says, she really did. Nelsie on my TikTok says that whole thing between Kyle and Dorit is for the show. It is definitely giving that in a lot of ways. But at the same time, I do feel like there's some truth to it, especially on Dorit's side when it comes to Kyle and Kyle's hypocrisy. You know what I mean? All right. So then they talk more about Morgan, and Kyle says that the attention of the Bravo universe gives Morgan anxiety. So Andy's like, well, Morgan is a public person. She is a singer. And she's like, but the Bravo universe is a different thing. And he's like, her being on the show also made her pretty famous. It got more eyes on her. He's not lying, because a lot of us did not know who Morgan was until this interaction. And I told you, I had speculation. I was like, did some publicist come up with this? Maybe. So Andy says that, she was a public person. She was on a show. You did a whole music video with her. Like, he was saying what we've been saying. Okay. And I just wish maybe some of the other ladies called her out for that BS. So he brings that up, and she's just like, well, it's different. It's different. It's not different. Morgan used the show for what it was. Now she doesn't want to be on the show. You don't want to talk about her. And we as a cast can't talk about her. And you want us to be close friends? Girl, it's not going to work that way. And you constantly trying to compare it to Garcelle's child, not talking about Garcelle's minor child on the show, is very different. It's very different. Or look, even if he wasn't a minor, like Erica's grown son, who's a police officer, I can understand why Erica does not want to talk about her son. I mean, there's nothing else going on with Erica, but okay. But I can understand, because he is a police officer. He has not signed up for the show. He has not appeared on the show. And him being talked about on the show actually risks his life. That's the only reason why I will give Erica some grace in regards to the situation. Let me give Erica a little bit more grace. You're lucky, Erica. Don't get behind me, though. Stay right where you are. I don't trust you. I don't trust you behind me. Lord, you some random designer of your dress. Now, the woman that you collaborated with, where you're a feature on her song, was calling you out on social media, Erica. But I got your back on this one. I felt like she was clout chasing, because when she laid out the story, and I saw all of you on TikTok tagging me, I'm a fair person. I listened to her story. Could Erica have been a little bit more gracious? Yes, because apparently Erica did a whole listening party or event for the song that she's featured on. I don't believe she invited the woman. Okay, weird, but I'm not surprised, Erica. But she was more upset that Erica did not mention her during the reunion when Andy brought up the song. I'm like, what did you want her to say? Shout out to... I mean, she could have, but she didn't even shout out to the designer that she was wearing the entire reunion. You know what I mean? I felt like the woman was clout chasing, especially when she shows the text message between her and Erica, where she says, can you tag me in the post that you did about the song, blah, blah, blah. And Erica graciously said, oh, of course. And it seemed like all good. So, sorry, lady, but Erica is not the greatest person, but clearly you seem like you were clout chasing off of this whole situation to bring attention to yourself. I don't know why, but I guess, attention, people are attention seeking. Whatever. Look, I'm not even an Erica fan like that, but look, I'm fair. Right, Poot? I'm fair. Let me take a sip. All right. Teresa says Erica has a nasty spirit. Don't like her at all. Talking during the movie says Erica's an oddball. The audience speaks. Jamie, thank you so much for Super Chat. Jamie says Sutton was in the sunken place in this this episode. Not the sunken place. That's where she resides. Amit says, thank you for the Super Chat, Amit. Kathy's stylist, Chris, got a Chiron because that's the stylist that Dorit didn't pay. I turned on Sutton trying to be funny. There was cake in the video. Yeah, I did see that Dorit's hairstylist was doing Kathy's stylist. Well, he's guaranteed to get paid there. Just Jules, thank you for the Super Chat. Just Jules says Tilly crunching on her snacks annoyed me. No, that's okay. We can talk about it now because I don't care. I don't care about the order. So when Sutton was getting it, they turned. Remember, they're all mic'd. If that was annoying to they did that intentionally. They could have turned her mic down. They could have eliminated the sound on her mic. They did that intentionally to be funny. All right. Yes. Nelsie on TikTok says, I love the snack chewing because I think they did that to be funny. I thought it was hilarious because if they didn't want that in there, they could have turned her mic off. They're controlling all that sound. So there are things that are whispered that they can either highlight or not highlight. But I get it. In real life, that would be annoying. Like, why am I hearing you chew? For me, it was comic relief. I was like, what was happening? And mind you, this is her friend getting thrown under the bus here, and she says, I thought it was hilarious. But I get it, Jude. In real life, that would be annoying. Alyssa, thank you so much for the super chat. We appreciate your support. Guava Berry Moon. Okay. Thank you for the super chat. Kyle is trying to be the Bobby Fischer she accused LVP of being. Kyle's behavior is truly vile. Christina, thank you so much for the super chat. Christina says, does Kyle think we forgot her semi-lesbian thing with Teddy? Oh. Not her semi-lesbian thing with Teddy. Lord. Okay. Robo Avenger says, I thought props weren't allowed. Those weren't props. She needs her snacks. Okay? Jennifer Tilly needs her snacks. All right. So let's, I'm not going to spend too much time here. I am going to drop the calling for our members first. I will drop the calling for the live chat as well. We're talking about the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills for those that are just joining us. Normally, we don't do it right after the episode, but we're doing it tonight because Kempire has a busy day tomorrow, okay? And I can't promise that I would have been able to even fit it in tomorrow. And if I did, it would probably be pushed back to Thursday. So here we are on a Tuesday night. It is Tuesday, right? Yes. So Kyle and Dorit discuss the text messages. Okay. Do we need to rehash it? Kyle was wrong. The other women agreed. Everyone agreed. All right. So Kyle says that she texts both PK and Dorit during the separation announcement. She says that she would be bothered if the tables were turned. Of course, especially with the rumors that Dorit and Mauricio may have had a thing. But I'm glad she owned the fact that if Dorit had done that with her husband, she would have been bothered by it. So why are we arguing your case right now? Kyle says that Dorit's girl code. She says, where was Dorit's girl code when she read the text message to Erica? Oh my God, this whole girl code thing. Like, none of you girls have girl code. All of you are mean girls. Specifically Kyle and Dorit. The Fox Force flunkies are mean girls. You guys don't know what girl code is. The people that bring up girl code or being a girl's girl are usually the ones that are not girl's girls. And Kyle's explanation of being a girl's girl, I come from a family of women. Yeah, sisters that can't stand you. And you've been estranged from on and off for years. I also have a ton of daughters. Genetics. I'm like, what is that? How does that make you a girl's girl? Can someone explain that to me? You have a house full of girls. Mauricio's genetics. I'm like, that's how you have a house full of girls. Let me speak to the girls and see how they feel about their mother. But okay. Dorit says that even when Kyle was coming, when she was, having the big fit at Bose's house, she still checked up on her and she still wanted to make sure that she was okay. And then Kyle was like, my way of doing that was the text message that I sent. Oh my gosh. I think it was all downhill after the whole LVP situation. I think that's when Kyle's mask started slipping, was after the LVP thing. And I'm not like a huge stand for LVP like some people are, but I think that's when we started seeing Kyle's mask slipping. Or at least where this reality TV stuff went to her head. Because remember, before this, yes, Kyle did a couple of movies, but Kyle wasn't a notable person like that. This made her a notable person. This opened up opportunities for her. And dare I say, this also helped Mauricio sell houses too. Not a lot. I mean, I'm not just going to take away from his hard work, but I'm sure it hasn't hurt him mixing and mingle with certain people in Beverly Hills and in television and in entertainment to help his business. Just saying. All right. Bose then addresses the comments that she made on the Hot Mic podcast. So is that what we're going to do all the time now, Bravo? Start highlighting Watch What Happens Live, the podcast that you guys have now? All right, fine. You notice how they can mention that podcast name, but when they did, what was it, Behind the Velvet Rope, they wouldn't mention the name. Okay. So Bose addresses calling Kyle a liar. And she's like, yeah, you omitted information. Omission equals lies. And Kyle's just like, no, I don't see it that way. Well, I'm going to agree with both. Omission equals lies. Some people don't believe that, but intentionally withholding information for me feels like a lie. Just saying. And yeah, I feel like Kyle does it a lot. And Bose is coming in as a newbie, sees it, and she's like, yeah, I think she lied. And based off of my experience of you and what you shared with me in those different scenes, you didn't share what you shared with the other ladies. Okay? So, where else? So, Kyle does reveal that she has PK, she has text PK, and that's when Jagger was in the hospital. But Dorit says it bothers her because what really bothers her is the fact that Kyle thinks that she has a better friendship with PK than she really does. And Dorit says, PK tells me everything except how many days he's been sober or that your home is in pre-foreclosure. Just saying. Or when he's going to, which Saturday night of the month he's going to see his children. You see where you see where I'm going with this situation with Dorit? Like there's inconsistencies when she talks about her relationship with PK. All right. Kyle says she also texts PK when they were in Oceanside. I think we all can agree. Her continuously texting with PK, the fact that you wouldn't like it if the tables were reversed, no matter the circumstances, if one of your kids were in the hospital, you wouldn't like it if Dorit was texting with Mauricio. The real question Andy should have asked, do you text Mauricio without Kyle knowing? That's what the audience really wants to know. Do you text Mauricio, Dorit? I'm sure she would say no, but would it be the truth? All right. So apparently she texted PK when they were in Oceanside because of the big blow up that they had. Who cares? I really didn't care about Textgate anymore. We talked about it. We litigated it the entire first part of this season. And so many people said this season was not their best. Their ratings, though, for last week's reunion, though, you're welcome, Bravo, was like 971,000 or 973,000 viewers. Almost 1 million of live viewers. I wonder what this week will be. It doesn't seem like, I mean, it might still get big numbers, but it was kind of boring. Not kind of, it was boring. Part 2 of the Beverly Hills reunion was boring for me. Part 3, we shall see. We shall see what exactly broke made Garcelle abruptly leave. Garcelle looks like she hangs out to the end because we see her leave during the toast. So I was like, oh. I don't know why they don't take a picture at the beginning of the reunion when everyone's still getting along, or at least semi getting along. Big Miss Muffin says, none of us care. Why did or am I still watching? I don't know. I don't know. All right. So Jennifer Tilly comes out and they talk to Jennifer Tilly and they play all the different funny moments of Jennifer Tilly, her fashion. I have to say, I was interested in Jennifer Tilly talking about some of the jewelry that she has. I was happy to hear that her jewelry is in a safe deposit box at the bank because I was like, girl, please tell me you're not keeping that in the house because, LA do have those burglaries and whatnot. So she keeps all of her beautiful jewelry, like just her learning the history behind some of her jewelry, like what she's wearing for the promo shoot. She says like, that's the only one in the world. I was like, this is real money. This is why they wanted her on the show because there are a lot of housewives on these shows that don't have real money. And for Beverly Hills, they want people with real money. So that's why for Jennifer Tilly's segment, we're talking about the fashion, the jewels. She did want to clear something up. The Louis Vuitton boat bag that she had, which was, designed by Pharrell. They said it was $33,000. However, she says she called her salesperson, how much did I pay for this? $24,000. Oh, oh. Oh, look, my crystals are dropping, y'all. My crystals are dropping. The tourmaline. The tourmaline's dropping. It's okay. It was in front of the button. Okay. Not bad juju. Not over here. So they talk about some of her stuff. He says like you're probably our most accomplished friend of, but none of that's highlighted in your Instagram account. What's highlighted in her Instagram account is friend of. That's because she's funny. She doesn't take herself seriously. That's why I like about Jennifer Tilly. All right. But she does refuse to discuss how much she makes from The Simpsons every year. Andy, I think Andy asked if it was like a 7-figure amount. She says, I won't speak about that. It's a lot of money and it will be a lot of money to the day she dies. Oh, damn. Not the day she dies. But it will be. She doesn't have any kids though, right? Jennifer Tilly, she doesn't have any children. Who's that money going to? I'll be your kid, Jennifer. I'll be your kid. Then I won't need the billionaire. All right. So she refuses to talk about that. They do talk about some of her comments from the after show. She was very apologetic. She got ahead of it because she talked about PK not being able to afford the Beverly Hills Hotel. And she's like, I didn't really mean it as a dig towards you. But then I also don't know how much it is, and she thought it was like $24,000 a night or $25,000 a night at the Beverly Hills Hotel. And she's like, no, it's not that, Dorit says. Okay. They go to, Dorit says, based off the comments from the after show, she was like, I thought maybe you had, switched over. And Tilly says, to the dark side? Well, no, to the witches of Eastwick. And Garcelle's like, oh, because she knows what that meant, to the witches of Eastwick. Jennifer Tilly is best friends with Sutton. Please understand, she is trying to be friendly with all of you, but that is her best friend. It has been her best friend before this show. So she really is friends. And I think because of the friendship with Sutton, she's built a friendship with Garcelle. So Jennifer Tilly, you can get behind me. Only you, Jennifer. Keep your friend right where she stands. Jennifer Tilly, get behind me. I want to leave Jennifer Tilly alone. Jennifer, don't come back next season, girl. They're just going to try and take you down. And I don't need them to take you down. Just stay where you are. Okay? All right, guys, we have over 1,200 of you here. Thank you so much for being here on a Tuesday evening or Tuesday night. It's not even evening anymore. It's 10 o'clock here in New York City, but it's like 7 o'clock on the West Coast. Hey, West Coast. Must be nice. All right. So that's when Jennifer Tilly, when they come back from commercial, she leans over to Garcelle. Do you think that Sutton is on some anxiety meds? So that might explain why Sutton is so low-key during this reunion. She's not saying a lot. Maybe. And Garcelle leans over and she's like, we're mic'd. All right. So Kathy joins the group. All right. Matter of fact, before we get to that, guys, don't forget to like the video. It's easy. It's free. And don't forget, you can hear an audio version of our podcast an audio version on our podcast, Kempire. But you can also hear my recaps of The White Lotus as a part of our Club Kempire Apple subscription. That has right now a free 3-day trial. So try that out if you want to get a taste of the first 7 episodes. Plus, the Kempire After Dark live show audio is available there for a limited time. Actually, I don't think it's available anymore. I think we got rid of it for April 1st. Woo, woo, woo. Sorry, just realized that we put an expiration on that. Should have been there. Shout out to those of you that were members. But if you're members of the channel here, I will be sharing the video at some point. And if you're members here, I will be sharing the video versions of my White Lotus recaps eventually. But if you want to hear my thoughts now that the entire season's available of The White Lotus, go subscribe to the Kempire podcast and become a Club Kempire baddie today. All right. Moving on. Kathy joins the group. Oh, I said I was going to drop the call link for members. Let me do that first. Let me just do that really quickly. Kathy Hilton joins the group. Kathy also was, she was the light, fun energy, but I have to say I preferred Jennifer this season. But we didn't get a lot of Kathy this season. Okay, we had a few moments with Kathy, which is probably for the best when it comes to Kyle and Kathy's relationship, that she wasn't on the entire season. And she only had a few different moments, and she hosted like 1 or 2 events. Okay, let me just do those. Okay. All right, members. There you go. And live chat, once we get to a certain amount of likes, I'll drop the call link for you guys as well. Okay. All right, moving on. What was I saying? Oh, so Kathy Hilton comes out. Kathy, they talk about, I said hello to Miss Girardi. That's why she was fashion roadkill at Sutton's fashion show. I was saying hello to Miss Girardi. Her mother's name is not Miss Girardi. Why couldn't Erica understand that Kathy Hilton was trying to understand, what's your maiden name? Like, what's your mother's name? Like, what does she go by? How do we end up, oh, I have a country middle name, Nay. Erica Nay. Well, that's not what we were trying to get. So what should I call your mother? What's your mother's maiden name? What's your mother's name, last name? Like, she couldn't get to that. I was like, all right, no one's understanding. Okay. They also talk about how Kathy Hilton found out that she was Asian back in 3000 BC. So she tries to explain it. She was at a couture show for Maximata in Italy, where this woman told her this. She asked her name. She did something in her phone and discovered that Kathy Hilton and I are relatives. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Whatever. Okay. Kathy also talks about her comments that she made, her derogatory comments. I'm going to say derogatory comments about PK during the season. So instead of just saying, I was just trying to defend my sister, she basically says, well, I felt like he looked a little different. He looked a little bit older. He used to have a little bit more weight on him. He was drinking, and now he's not. I will say there was a period where Mauricio was hot. He was like one of the hot house husbands. And then he kind of started looking frumpy and he was looking aged and tired. And now he's looking a lot better again. And I don't know if he stopped drinking or he just got rid of Kyle and that's helping. Maybe. Maybe not. Okay. All right. Moving on from there, she then talked about, okay, so they addressed the comment that that Erica made on Watch What Happens Live about who sucks up to Kathy Hilton. And Erica said Sutton, and closely behind her, Garcelle. So Garcelle is like, yeah, let's talk about that comment. Like, what grounds do you have to say that? Because Garcelle's like, first of all, Garcelle said in the after show, there's like, I haven't even gone to any Kathy Hilton's parties in the last year. So, like, what is Erica even talking about? So that's why Garcelle says, like, what grounds? And this is just another thing during the season where it just felt like Erica had this bone to pick with Garcelle after they seemed to be in a better place. It was weird. So Erica says, I was on Watch What Happens Live. I was asked a shady question, so I gave a shady response. So nothing with Erica is truly genuine. You never know where you truly stand with Erica. Like, you can never be friends with Erica. And I think Erica's only friends with Kyle because she feels like it solidifies her position on the show. I don't feel like it's a true, genuine friendship. Neither with Dorit. I don't think they're deep enough to have real friendships. Who are Erica's real friends in real life? Her staff? Those are the only people we see around her. Who are her real friends? I could say the same thing for Dorit. Who are her real friends outside of the show? Because none of these people on the show are her friends. Mexi says, Erica always says it was a shady answer. She did the same at BravoCon with Dorit when she was asked who's the next couple to break up, and she said Dorit. So she's just performing. So I think the thing with shade is not just making something up. It has some grounds in truth, and that makes sense. If you're just making something up to make something up, it's not really shade. Yes, Amanda, we talked about this last week. Amanda says in the after show, didn't Dorit try to say that that Sutton bought Garcelle's friendship? No, she didn't try and say it. She said it. She said it. She said it to Bose. SW says, exactly, she's so fake. Tequila Girl says Erica will never have peace in her life until she does right by others. Damn. Look. Till you do right by me, anything you even think about is going to fail. Love The Color Purple. The original, not the musical. No, when I say not the musical, not the one on Broadway, the musical movie. Sorry, but not sorry. Guys, we're almost at 500 likes. Once we get to 500 likes, I'll drop the call link for you guys as well. All right? Tyler says all she cares about is money. Based off of her behavior, based off her fascination with Jennifer Tilly, it's not just because Jennifer Tilly is Hollywood royalty. It's because Jennifer Tilly has all of these things that she finds important, like material things that she finds important. Teresa says, teach the girls how to throw shade, Kempire. And there's no teaching them. Okay. Yeah. Valley says she don't like Garcelle, and Garcelle finally saw her for who she is. Yeah. All right. Moving on from that. Oh, we do get an update on Kim. So I didn't hear that Kim was in Florida. So Kim's not even in California. Is she in rehab in Florida? That's what I felt like that's what they were alluding to. Kyle let Kathy answer that question because Kyle and Kim haven't been in a good place. A lot of the drama recently has been centered around them. And Kathy always seems to be able to be in a good place with Kim. Okay? So, yeah. Kim, I think we all can say we wish Kim well. I think we all can say that we really do wish Kim well. She doesn't need to be on the show. She needs to get proper help. So, good luck to Kim. All right. So, the final part of the reunion, again, if you remember the channel, I've already dropped the call link on the community tab. Shout out to our members that are already backstage. We appreciate you and your monthly support. So, they talk about Sutton's comments to Dorit and how she says, you're mad, you're not mad at me, you're mad about what's going on in your life. And you remember how both said that Sutton weaponized that against Dorit. And Sutton didn't like the use of the word weaponize. So Andy asked Garcelle, do you think that Bose overreacted in regards to Sutton's comments? Garcelle says, yep, I think she did overreact. And Bose is like, well, why do you think that I overreacted? Bose says that Sutton never takes accountability for her actions. Sutton says that night, Dorit was cursing at Camille and calling her a see you next Tuesday and all this other stuff. All right? Then they also bring up Sutton interrupting Dorit when she was talking about Jagger bringing up the divorce. I haven't forgotten about this. Yes. Was it awkward? Was it kind of rude? Was it very Virgo? Sorry, Virgos. But not really. It was awkward. But we found out during part 2 of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion that Sutton says that production was the one telling her to get everyone to go. So, yes, could she have said it in a better way? Yes, she could have said it without saying production told me to tell us that we need to go. She could have definitely said it in a better way. But time after time this season, every time we would have a scene, it felt like Dorit felt like she had to come in and say, well, guys, this is what's going on with me. Because she really felt like she had to produce. I don't care what Dorit says in regards to, you knew that I was asked back this season. Yes, you were asked back, probably with the stipulation that you're going to share everything about what's going on with you and PK. Just saying. AGW says, poor Virgos. Amanda says, Garcelle was definitely checked out. She was like, yeah, and I know shit by part 2. Because Garcelle was not prepared for part 1. She didn't think that she was going to be the focus. So she was checked out by part 2. Bloomingtail says Bose did not overreact, in my opinion. Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that. I do feel like if you look at the definition of weaponizing, it did feel like that's what Sutton was doing in regards to the whole Dorit of it all. Ariana says, Bose irks me because she clearly came into the group to be calculated and take sides with the Fox Force flunkies. She was never going to see it for Garcelle or Sutton. And I don't need her to see it for Garcelle or Sutton. I think that's the problem with a lot of people. They think if you don't like how Bose moved this season, it's because she didn't join Garcelle and Sutton. That's not my issue. I don't need you to join. You can be independent from everybody. It was remember, everyone was shocked last week when she said, oh yeah, I watched the show before being on the show. And that confused people even more. They were like, you watched the show and you aligned yourself with Dorit, who's made microaggressions against women of color on the show? That was a choice. And then we heard all of this information about Bose over the last few weeks in regards to people that allegedly, I'm going to say, worked with her at different places. And they said, well, that's behavior tracks. Mind you, we were getting that information before I had the tea about the reunion. And I said, oh, damn. It just all tracked. I noticed this pattern. And I was like, okay. I didn't even expect to talk about Bose in this reunion because basically we didn't talk a lot about Bose or Garcelle in part 2 of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion. But there you have it. Next week, we'll talk, I'm sure, more about that. Nola says that Bose actually came as Sutton's friend. Came onto the show as Sutton's friend, but she aligned herself with Dorit. She made a choice aligning herself with Dorit. And I'm sure her deciding to come through Sutton, because production always asks you, who do you want to come? Even though apparently socially she knew Sutton, they do ask the new housewives, who do you want to come on the show through? The fact that she chose Sutton says to me she knew Sutton was a fan favorite, and that's why she chose to come through Sutton, in my opinion. And again, a lot of people always assume because you came on the show as their friend that they're really friends in real life. No, they knew each other socially. Okay, all right. I'm already tired, but it's late. It's late here in New York City. But if you're watching the replay of this, be sure to let me know how you would rate part 2 of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion and your thoughts on part 2 and your thoughts on what I've said. It's okay. I can take it. I'm not reading it, though. I'm busy. But shout out to those of you that can't be here because, you're asleep and you're going to watch this in the morning. Hey, good morning. All right. Celestine said, I like that name, Celestine. Bose will check Dorit when it's time. Wait and see. No, she checked her. What was it? Was it the season finale? Or no, like the episode before the season finale when Sutton apologized and she wasn't receiving it. And she told her, like, she's apologizing to you. You got to be able to take the apology. So she has, at least in that moment, called Dorit out when necessary. All right. So what else happens? So Sutton. Oh, so Sutton says that production told her interrupt Dorit during that conversation. She does say, well, maybe I could have said it differently. Okay. Then they talk about Sutton's wallet comment. Andy asked Garcelle about what her thoughts were. And she's like, yeah, I don't think that it was right. I definitely don't think anyone thought those comments were right. Kyle speaks up about it. Kathy Hilton says, we just had lunch the other day and we talked about it and you regretted it. Mind you, though, in Sutton's confessional, she's like, I don't regret it. I won't regret it. They should have played that in part 2 of the reunion. Play that again. I said it. I won't regret it. And I don't regret it. It was tacky. And I wish she would have just stood on it. Stand on it the way that you stood on it in your confessional. Mind you, confessionals are filmed after these scenes. So she said that and then said it again in her confessionals for weeks later. Just Jules says, Sutton, please leave the show. She's going to have to. Ashley says the wallet comment is child's play. Yeah, I don't know what in her head Sutton was thinking. She came in hot that day. She came in hot and ready to argue with Dorit. So Dorit then goes on her high horse. She's like, it's not like you live like the Queen of Sheba. You live on a main road. Okay, here's the thing, y'all. Y'all really like to hype Dorit up like that was a bar. I don't feel like it was a bar. It's as Andy said, a main road in Beverly Hills. A home that's not in pre-foreclosure. Like it does these comments that Dorit makes, Dorit smoking a cigarette and you guys making it this big thing. I'm like, it wasn't a bar, but maybe our standards, especially for those of us that have been fans of the show and that watch Real Housewives of Atlanta, that wasn't a bar. You live on a main road, okay? As my TikTok user 7634 says, a home owned in Bel Air, honey. Come on. Funky says, I wasn't mad at the poor Reed comment. They didn't even talk about that. They only talked about the wallet comment. They didn't talk about her calling her brokey in poor Reed. They didn't talk about that. My thing is that, Sutton, if you're going to say these things, stand on it. Stand on it. Or don't say them. Because it was kind of like, okay, if you're going to say this, you better be able to stand on it. And like, okay, maybe I shouldn't have said it, but I felt it in that moment. Pink Petal says, where do you live, poor Reed? She lives in a pre-foreclosed home. Not anymore. For those that didn't watch the I have to watch the uncensored version tomorrow. Stay tuned. If I have time tomorrow, maybe I'll go live when I get back after all my appointments and whatnot. Maybe. I can't promise you that, though. I might be too tired. Unless I do it from my bed. Okay? And we can talk about the uncensored version. Look, Peacock, run me a check. Okay? Because there will be an uncensored, maybe extended version of part 2. I don't know if that's going to make it any better, but we shall see. If I notice anything different, I'll let you know tomorrow. All right. The Girls Club says the Pourri comment. Wait. Its comment. Wait, I think you mean the Pourri comment was lame as she is. And here go Boz chiming in per usual. Yeah. Oh, wait, no, Poor Reed's comment. That's what you mean. Poor Reed's comment about the main road was lame as she is. And I thought, here's the thing. I see so many people like, the Bravo universe, like, oh my God, that was a blah. And I'm like, the same with the whole smoking. Like, oh my God, they were like, the smoking is so iconic. What did Omarosa say on Bethany's now canceled daytime talk show? Google it. I'm not going to repeat it. Google it. Y'all know we see each other for those that remember what she said. They be hyping up mediocrity when we got to be 10 times as great and funny and interesting and witty and shady. But she could smoke a cigarette and say, you live on a main road, and all of a sudden it's iconic. Y'all are lame.
It's this, honey.
I promise you we won't be talking about that as we're talking about this clip.
It's this, honey.
This is a good 20 years old almost, okay? All right. Okay, moving on from there. Anything else? So Dorit then says, it's not everything is about money, and if you don't have love in your life and blah, 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 blah. Girl, you put so much emphasis on materialistic things. You talking about money's not everything. Maybe now because you ain't got it. Oh. Maybe now it's not everything because you ain't got it. However, you of all people who seem like the shallowest, is the shallowest of this group, you want to talk about, well, not everything is about money. I'm sure. I'm sure now it's not. Okay. Main road in Bel Air. Good for you. Okay. We're not defending you, son. Get from behind here. Garcelle, you good? All right, I'm done talking about this show. I've already been talking about this damn show for an hour. Oh, damn. Just when I thought I would have nothing to say for this lame part 2 of the Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion. All right, so live chat, I am going to drop the call link for you guys. Members of the channel, I've already dropped the call link for you guys on the community tab. Shout out to our members. I have a few super chats. Thank you so much for the super chats, guys. We appreciate it. Thank you to those of you that send in Cash Apps, Venmos, PayPals, or super thanks after the live. We appreciate your support. I just don't get to see them while I'm live because all my notifications are off. Thank you in advance. Thank you to those that like the video in the replay. Thank you to everyone that has already liked this video. We appreciate it as well. Edward, thank you so much for the super chat. Another super chat. Edward says, and for being a member. Edward says, my problem prior to Sutton is that she has no real backbone. If you're going to talk that stuff, you need to back it up and keep that same energy. Exactly. Especially if you're saying in your confessional, I said it. I don't regret it. It is what it is. Oh, but now at the reunion, it's like, woe is me. You expect people to feel sorry for you. No one feels sorry for you, especially now. All the Garcelle fans do not feel sorry for you now because you didn't have Garcelle's back. Garcelle didn't really have her back in part 2 either. Stand on it. Angel, thank you so much for the super chat and for being a member. Angel says, Jennifer crunching sound bites were hilarious. Pure Jennifer Telly. Also, can you replace Dr. G's song sound bite with a poot sound bite? No. We're not going to make poot iconic over here, okay? No, Angel. Thank you, though. Thank you for the super chat. Christina, thank you so much for the super chat. Christina says, can someone say something about Dorit's fake transatlantic accent and how annoying it is? Don't we do that every week? Don't we do that every week, Christina? I don't know what that accent is. Alyssa says, Dorita was so vile talking to the ladies. I think that is her persona this season. I think that's what she's leaning into this season. Christina, thank you so much for all the super chats. Christina says, last one. I'm so glad I'm an Aquarius. Did you see our video earlier today talking about Kenya Moore and they say how Aquariuses have the potential to crash out? I was like, I didn't know. Note to self. Gary, thank you so much for the super chat. Gary says, I love Sutton's wallet comment. It's classic Housewives banter. Don't we call her Dorit now? Dorit's main road comment is just as petty. It's petty, but for me, it doesn't land in the way that it's iconic or funny. Like, we're not going to be talking about this seasons from now. Not like these.
Bling, bling, bling. Itches is mad.
Like, we're not,
That. So nasty.
And that's what happened.
So rude.
We're not going to be thinking about, she lives on a main road 10 years from now. The wallet comment, though, we probably will. Porrito, we will. I mean, we call her Porrito. She called her Porrit. Brokey. Lexi, thank you so much for the super chat. Lexi says, yes to the old school Omarosa versus Bethany Reed. Lexi, we see each other. For those that don't know what I'm talking about, Google it and you will fully understand what I was referencing in regards to this whole Dorit stuff. Y'all love to hype up Dorit like she did something, and she did nothing. Y'all wouldn't even watch Dorit if an entire season was about Dorit. Oh wait, that was this season. Y'all said this season was lame. Dainty Bella says, will we ever meet the real Dorito? Probably not. See, I could never host a reunion because I probably would accidentally call her Dorito. Thanks for tuning in to Kempire here on the Kempire Radio podcast. As always, don't forget to give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. And for everything Kempire Radio, head on over to kempireradio.com.